Hey everyone, I've got a special guest today. This is Ryan. Ryan works at Webflow and he is the brand designer there, which is similar to what I do at ConvertKit as the marketing designer. And I don't know many other people who have this job, like the same thing that I do. So we're going to talk about it today. It's going to be great. We're in the Webflow studio, so everything's looking a lot more professional than usual. So Ryan, why brand design? Why did you choose to do that and not product design or UX and all these other design focuses that I feel like most people gravitate towards?
Most people do. It was really easy for me. I came from the art side. I secretly think that people who do product design wish they were doing more creative work sometimes.
I like to think that too.
Yeah. I was applying for jobs. I was looking around this here, and there was a ton of product design roles and very few that were brand or marketing related, but I was like, I'm gonna have way more fun doing this kind of stuff. When I have to, sit down and solve a complex problem that some of our designers do, it's fun and it's interesting to me and it's a challenge. But I have a lot more fun doing illustration, making things look really great, working on like video projects. Like, that's just what I enjoy more.
Yeah, I think the exact same thing. I think it's more fun to do brand design.
Yeah, it's very selfish. But
yeah, especially when you're working in-house though, I think you can get bored quite easily. It would be easy to anyway. I can see how people get bored. But when you're doing what we do, we can make things a lot more interesting. Like we've got more freedom for trying new things each project than someone working on the product does, because like obviously all of that needs to feel very cohesive.
Totally. I'm the brand design lead. I get to work on our brand, and that's my focus is evolving that. So if I do get kind of bored, I get to change that for myself and change it for us. And as we grow and evolve with the company, the brand evolves and grows too. I've worked at an agency and enjoyed that kind of freedom, but I'm enjoying this a lot more.
Cool. Okay, so that was going to be another one of my questions. Is what kind of design work have you done previously, and did you try out before settling on marketing design?
I've worked both at startups and agencies. My first job out of high school was like a very small startup. I was 17 and I was the only designer, and my boss had 3 companies. Wow. So I was doing all of the marketing and brand design for all 3.
Oh wow.
And it was really fun. Like it sounds like a lot, but it was just like I didn't know what I was doing. I was 17, just like making things look fun. But I got to learn a lot. Yeah. And it was a chance for me to fail and to like go from not wanting to touch code ever to being like, oh, this is accessible. Like the first site I ever did, I was like trying to animate it and stuff like that.
Sweet.
I was always freelancing too. I was doing print work and logos and stuff like that. Never anything too big. Then after that, I went to an agency, and I was most of the time there working on the Samsung team. So it's kind of like being in-house, but there was still the vibes of agency doing a lot of different agency life and doing a lot of different things at different times. Yeah. Got to work on like our own branding and some other projects and stuff like that. And while I worked there, I also worked as like a product designer freelancing for a startup in town. And that was when I worked on an iPad app. It was fun, but it was like going from making these creative pages or just really creative work to caring about the system of things and user research and things like that. But at that point, I kind of saw that as like the future of where I needed to go. Okay. And from my next job, I was assuming it would be product. Yeah. And I was kind of like sad about it. But yeah, then I landed here.
That's great. So it saved you from that. Yeah.
It saved me from that. Yeah. I had an offer from a product, like for a product role, and an offer for this role, and I was just like, that's really easy.
I don't know if you feel this too, but I sometimes feel like in the tech world, marketing design, brand design is looked down upon by product designers. Yeah. And I don't know if that's just like, I don't know, my own insecurities coming out, but I just get that sense. So it's really cool to hear someone else who actively chooses to work on brand design.
It's funny. Like, I don't think anyone's being mean by it.
No.
It's just, design in its root is solving problems. Yeah. Right? And I think it's really easy to look at some of the work that product designers, whether it's digital or physical. My fiance is an architect and is building buildings, right? Yeah. That all to me is like, that's really cool. But I think I'm solving a different problem. Yeah. And it's more artistic, and that's okay. I came from drawing. That was what I liked to do. And I just kind of found where I could do a little bit of that. Product design has more weight to it. It's more respected, I think, by more people. Yeah. And I'd say, because I am hiring a lot, like it is hard to find marketing and brand designers, especially here in the city, because a lot of people just assume they need to go into the product world.
Yeah, I want to know about your process of working on your brand design projects. First of all, what are the main things that you work on? Is it mostly like landing pages?
Launch landing pages are like my favorite thing. It's kind of the opportunity to really flex and stray away from the main branding.
Yeah.
And it can be an evolution or a version of it, and that's fine. What else do? I do so there's a lot of work to be done on our main marketing site.
Yeah.
We're trying to grow that a lot.
Yeah, that's where I spend most of my time, is on our main marketing
site.
Yeah.
And I think our marketing site does well, but we want to do a lot more to it.
Yeah.
We're releasing e-commerce in a few weeks, and with that comes a feature page, and it comes updating every other part of the site that
all
relates
the screenshots,
to it. All the screenshots. Yeah, we're updating our UI. We have to update all that, and with this new page that we're working on, it's like, well, should really update these other ones if we do this one.
And it just turns into a whole refresh of the whole site.
Yeah. And then with that, we're doing a video. So we're working with a contract agency to produce this launch video. We're all working really hard on that. A lot of work to be done on our blog. There's a lot of like side programs we have. There's a lot we're always working on.
Is it mostly digital for you though? Do you ever do any of the like print or like swag stuff?
I really want to. I would love to take a week and just make swag, but I just don't have the time right now.
Yeah, just doesn't become the priority, right? But there's a whole site to redesign.
Yeah. We recently had to make a banner and some flyers for a conference.
Yep.
And that was like, oh yeah, CMYK is a thing.
Yeah, yep, you've got to go back to it, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a very small amount of that, but yeah, a little bit. I think that's more typical for brand designers, especially as I look around and look at the work of people that call themselves brand designers.
Yeah.
It's a lot of internal, I think, marketing related, but usually a lot of internal swag related illustrations. Me and my team do a lot less of that type of work.
Right.
But there's a project we want to do really badly, and we got close to doing it for the launch of e-commerce, where we are actually going to produce our own swag store.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good idea.
So it's like it serves a lot of purposes.
Yeah.
One, it's a lot of people ask for Webflow t-shirts and pins and stickers all the time, and we're like, yeah, sure, here, take it, And then when we do have like events, it's hard to organize, getting
Ordering
all that swag in the instant and all that.
Yeah.
At the same time, we're producing an e-commerce product, and very few of us have run an e-commerce store.
Right, so this would be good practice for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a test for us internally.
Yeah.
To really even find the pain points and be able to market towards those and talk to product like, hey, this was hard. Let's fix this. So it's going to be really fun too, because then we'll get to just make a bunch of crazy shirts and stickers and all that.
That's cool. So with projects like that was you and your team come up with the idea for it. And do you have a lot of freedom in that, in suggesting the projects that you work on, essentially?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's absolutely, we're a design-focused company. As a designer here, there's a lot of respect that goes on, and everyone's really supportive of the ideas that we have.
That's cool.
I come up with a lot of crazy ideas. Not all of them are feasible or fit in with the timeline of what we want to get done. But there's always support to at least explore the idea or put in the backlog or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this one. There's other things that took priority, but
it's safe for later.
But it's safe. Yeah. It's gonna come.
Yeah, I do a similar thing at ConvertKit in my marketing design work. I can always feel free to suggest how I think is the best way to solve this problem. Because it is a problem. How do we market this feature or whatever?
Totally.
Sometimes there's time for it. Sometimes there's not. But yeah, I think it's great when we can have the freedom to suggest things like that.
Totally. I think the best ideas come out of like, oh, I have this random thought in a meeting. I'm just going to share it.
Yeah.
And if there's a culture of that being out of place or a culture where that's not supported and encouraged, then you're going to lose a lot of good ideas.
Yeah.
And so everyone here is always like, yeah, that's cool. Let's see what we can do with that. And I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. I think that's something that makes for a really successful in-house designer in general, is when you're not just doing the work that someone asks of you, but you're coming up with your own ideas as well and suggesting things.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when we released the ability to search within a Webflow site, we created a essentially Google for dogs. It was called Kibble. And it would like look like Google, acted like it. You could search for stuff. You get articles that were like tailored towards dogs, and it was just stuff like that. We're like, hey, let's just do something fun, and it'll take a week or whatever.
Yeah. Do you want to show me some of your favorite? I don't know, like what are you working on now, or some of your favorite projects?
Okay, currently? I'll show you what I'm working on now.
Yep.
It's the e-commerce feature page.
Yep.
Coming soon.
It'll probably be out by the time this video goes out, actually.
Okay, it's live. Here's the URL. this is the e-commerce feature page, work in progress. There's a here that's not done. But our main focus with the page is talking about design, as that's really our largest selling point, is all the things you can do with that.
Yeah.
So there's 6 sections, which this one's done.
That's cool.
It's talking about the checkout. You know, it's really rare. And I've experienced this both shopping a lot online, but shopping on an e-commerce store now built by Webflow, where you're like, oh yeah, the checkout is always looks terrible. It doesn't match anything.
And it always looks the same on every e-commerce site you go to as well.
It's like being able to have a custom checkout. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And now that I'm experiencing, I'm like, oh wow, that's really nice.
This is cool. So love the animation. Because you build out everything you design as well, obviously, in Webflow. Yeah.
And then talking about the shopping cart and how you can customize it, and there's different ways you can display it. We get to your product pages. There's going to be a video here. It's not done yet. Here we have
I love all this animation.
Yeah.
So cool.
Got the shadow kind of popping up there.
So what's your process with making a landing page like this? Do you have like a copy team or something give you the content for it first?
It's definitely a couple rounds back and forth between copy and design. It'll always start with a Word doc for sure. And we have a few people that are very good writers and very good at starting there. And then kind of once we actually JP threw this into a sketch file, and we started to play with the layout. And we actually get to see the content in the design. It's like, oh, it's not working as well, and let's see what we can do here.
Yeah, for sure.
And over time, we want to change what we actually show on the page. So there was a lot of back and forth between copy and just like a static layout. I typically, when I'm designing something, don't use Sketch or Figma or Illustrator or whatever. I usually just kind of go straight to Webflow, but it does work well for getting ideas out there quick. From there, we adapted the designs to Webflow. A lot of it changed. It's almost completely different, but it was at least a starting point to get us here. Yeah,
it's a starting point to have the conversation, right?
Yeah, totally. And then this was actually really nice because we just started with a very basic layout. We didn't do anything too fancy. And then just kind of tested the content structure across, I think, 10 users right now. And then got some really good feedback as to what they felt was missing and what we can do different. So it's going to go live, already being tested. And
that's great. Yeah. Is that usual for you? Because I was going to ask you about A/B testing and that user testing, that sort of thing as well. We do, well, not so much right now, but we have been doing a lot of A/B testing at ConvertKit, like little pieces on our site, or sometimes like full pages. Like we did 2 completely different home pages. But user testing for me normally happens after the page is live.
Yeah.
Mostly because I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I'm always behind our product team in getting like, they've got a new feature that's launching and I'm like, I've got to get the landing page done.
Sure.
Yeah. How does that normally work for you?
We don't do a lot of A/B testing.
Okay.
It's something we want to do more this year for sure. A lot of it's usually we have enough of an idea of what we need to do.
Yeah.
That it's not gonna fail.
Yeah.
But it can always be better.
Yeah. So there isn't any point in testing, I don't think, unless you're willing to like take the time to implement results from it as well. Yeah. So like when you've got other projects on, like that's why I said at the moment at ConvertKit we're not doing much testing because there's just so much going on.
Exactly. Yeah. We're in a similar spot for sure. It's unfortunately a luxury to test. I feel like.
Yeah.
As designers, we like generally know it's gonna work, and that's usually like, yeah, cool, let's do it. But testing is something I definitely want to do more of.
I think that as brand designers as well, perhaps our projects are launched on a more regular cadence than product designers. So testing is obviously a huge part of product design. Like before you launch a feature out to all these thousands of people, that's really important. Whereas with what we do, it's pretty easy to like make an update to the website without it like affecting too many people's lives. If you need to change something,
it's a little bit quieter.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't break anything necessarily.
Which is again something that I like about doing marketing design.
And if we do fail, we'll know on Twitter or wherever else.
Yep,
people are gonna
be like, hey, will tell you. This link is broken.
That happens for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Ryan, thank you so much for sharing all this. Where can people go to find out more about you?
I've got a website, ryride.io, RYRY.
Great URL. Yep, there it is.
Or just like Twitter, I'm /ryridejmo.
We'll put that on the screen as well. I love following Ryan on Twitter. Would definitely recommend giving him a follow.
I tweet mostly Webflow stuff.
There we go. Yeah. So you're going to be like promoted too. There we
Yeah.
go. People are wanting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting stuff. You get to see all his projects and things like that. Thank you for being here, Ryan. This was really great. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Just don't get scared and like move too far away. Yeah. Cool.
All right, have fun. See ya.
Thanks, Tim.
Bye, love.
Bye, I love you.
I say that more than you'd expect.